She'll never respect you if you keep doing these three things, and no one else will either. This isn't a warning, it's a wake-up call. Because if she stops respecting you, the attraction dies, the intimacy fades, and everything you built, it crumbles. What I'm about to tell you will either save your relationship or show you why it was never real to begin with. Apologizing for who you are instead of owning it, respect starts where self-respect begins. And most men destroy that foundation before they even realize it by constantly apologizing for who they are. Not for something they've done wrong, not for something that hurt her, but for simply existing as a man with needs, boundaries, preferences, desires. You kill attraction every time you shrink yourself to make her comfortable. You think it's kindness. She sees it as weakness. And the part of her that wants to feel your strength, it starts to vanish fast. Psychology proves this. Women are biologically wired to seek leadership and certainty in a partner. Not control, not dominance, but certainty. If you keep second guessing your worth, deferring every decision, and asking for permission to take up space in your own life, she won't feel safe around you. She'll feel something worse, the burden of leading when she doesn't want to. Women don't lose respect all at once. They lose it in silence, in those moments when you downplay your truth, when you laugh off your standards, when you let disrespect slide just to keep the peace. They're watching. Not what you say, but what you tolerate. And if you keep apologizing for the very traits that made you attractive in the first place, your drive, your directness, your vision, then you become invisible. The moment you betray your own identity to win her approval, the respect dies, slowly, then suddenly, because no one can admire a man who doesn't admire himself. And no, this isn't about arrogance. It's about presence. The willingness to speak your truth without shrinking. The discipline to hold your ground without yelling. The courage to walk away from anything that asks you to be less than what you are. That's what she respects. That's what she remembers. Not how agreeable you were, but how deeply you knew who you were. You don't attract love by becoming smaller. You attract loyalty by becoming rooted. And if you keep apologizing for being a man, she'll stop seeing you as one. There's a dangerous lie circulating in modern relationships, and too many men are falling for it. It's the belief that the more you give in, the more she'll love you. That if you surrender your boundaries, she'll reward you with affection. That if you let her lead everything, emotionally, sexually, and spiritually, she'll see you as safe. But here's the truth. She doesn't want to lead you. She wants to feel led with you. She wants to feel your strength beside hers, not beneath hers. When a man confuses submission with love, he enters into silent self-erasure. He starts saying yes when he means no. He stops speaking up when something feels wrong. He becomes agreeable, passive, emotionally soft, not in a vulnerable, connected way, but in a way that feels disconnected from masculine stability. Psychology calls this fawning behavior. It's when you try to avoid conflict by pleasing at all costs. But guess what? The cost is you. And over time, she sees it. She feels it. She starts to lose trust, not because you're mean or toxic, but because there's no anchor to grab onto. Women are biologically wired to test for strength, not just physical, but emotional. Not because they want to break you, but because they want to trust you. If every disagreement makes you backpedal, if every tough conversation makes you fold, she's not feeling heard. She's feeling like she's in charge of both of your emotions. That's exhausting. That's pressure. That's not what she wants. She doesn't need a yes man. She needs a man who can listen, understand, and still lead himself. When you abandon your frame, you don't become lovable, you become forgettable. Because love without respect turns into obligation, and no woman wants to be intimate with a man she secretly resents. Don't trade your spine for affection. She may thank you with words, but her heart will grow cold. Her eyes will wander. her body will retreat. Not because you weren't enough, but because you stopped standing in what made you attractive in the first place, your grounded presence. Respect isn't something she gives when you surrender. It's something she gives when you stand tall, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Here's the uncomfortable truth most men never want to admit. If you treat sex like a reward, you've already lost her respect. Not because sex isn't important. Sex is sacred, primal, bonding, but because the moment you begin to chase it, negotiate for it, or use it as proof of your value, she stops seeing you as a man and starts seeing you as a beggar. We've been conditioned to think that intimacy is the finish line, that if you're nice enough, passive enough, or romantic enough, she'll give you what you want. But women aren't vending machines. They don't respond to coins of approval, validation, or favors. They respond to energy, authenticity, depth, sexual polarity, the electricity that only exists when a man is fully present, not desperate. Psychologically, when you treat sex as validation, you place her on a pedestal and yourself beneath her. It becomes a transaction, and nothing kills desire faster than pressure masked as affection. You stop being the man she's drawn to and start becoming the man she tolerates. You try to perform, impress, please, but she sees through it. Women are biologically attuned to intention. They know when you're leading from wholeness and when you're chasing approval. Real attraction isn't about what you do to earn sex. It's about who you are when you don't need it to feel worthy. That's when the dynamic shifts. When you stop treating sex as a goal and start living in your truth, she feels it. She stops being guarded. She opens because she doesn't feel like a target. She feels like a partner. Using sex as currency tells her one thing, that your value is conditional and her body is the only prize you're after. But when you lead with purpose, when your touch is grounded in connection, when your desire is expressed without demand, respect is automatic. She trusts you, she relaxes around you, and the intimacy that follows isn't forced, it's chosen, freely. If you want her to crave you, stop trying to earn her. Start embodying yourself. She's not attracted to pressure. She's drawn to presence. The man who stops needing sex to feel whole is the man who ends up receiving it from a place of power, not persuasion. There is a line between being considerate and being compromised, and too many men cross it without realizing it. They believe that making her comfortable at all costs will make her love them more. But here's the truth that stings. She might feel comfortable with you, but she won't feel attraction toward you. Because comfort without challenge doesn't create respect, it creates boredom. And respect is the foundation of desire. When you abandon your principles to avoid tension, you lose the core of what makes you magnetic, your grounded values. Psychology tells us that consistency in belief and action, integrity, is one of the most attractive traits in a partner. It signals leadership, trustworthiness, and emotional maturity. But when you fold your convictions every time she gets upset or uncomfortable, you stop being a man she can follow. You become someone she has to manage. And no woman wants to mother the man she sleeps with. You might think you're being loving when you say yes to things that violate your truth. But what she sees is a man who lacks spine. A man who wants harmony more than self-respect. And over time, she'll test you, not maliciously, but instinctively. She wants to know, can you hold your ground when it matters? Do you have boundaries, or do you dissolve the moment she disapproves? And if the answer is weakness, her admiration dies quietly. A man without principles is a man without power. And she can't fully trust a man she doesn't feel is anchored to something real. You don't need to control her. You need to control yourself. You need to know who you are, what matters to you, and where your line is. Then communicate it calmly, clearly, without apology. Not with arrogance, but with unwavering clarity. The paradox is this: the more you honor your boundaries, the more she relaxes into her feminine energy. The more you protect your values, the more she respects your leadership. And the more you show her that your identity isn't negotiable, the more she trusts that you're strong enough to hold both yourself and her. Here's where most men break their own hearts. They confuse attention with worth. A glance, a compliment, a hookup. They think it means something deeper than it does. They build identity around fleeting attraction, hoping it will fill the void inside. But attraction is not validation. And the moment you use women's responses to define your value, you give away all your power. Psychologically, this is known as external referencing, building your sense of self through the reactions of others. It's the fastest way to become emotionally unstable and relationally weak. Because if your self-worth rises and falls based on whether she wants you, texts you back, or chooses you, you're no longer a man. You're a mirror, reflecting what she sees instead of standing in who you are. When you chase validation, everything becomes performance. You say what you think she wants to hear. You act how you think she wants you to act. You become a version of yourself that's optimized for approval, but not rooted in truth. And over time, that lack of authenticity makes you invisible. Because women feel when a man is centered and when he's seeking. Real attraction flows from abundance, not lack. From knowing that you are already complete, not because she validates you, but because you validate yourself. When you walk into a room, not wondering if you're good enough, but grounded in the fact that you already are, people feel that. Women feel that, and it changes the dynamic completely. She may be drawn to your looks, your charm, your energy, but she will only respect and stay with the man who doesn't need her attention to feel alive. Because that man isn't controlled by praise or rejection. He's led by purpose. If you want lasting connection, stop performing. Stop chasing compliments like oxygen. Stop needing her attention like a drug. Start showing up as a man who is full, with or without her response. That's not arrogance. That's emotional sovereignty. And in a world of men trying to prove they're enough, the man who already knows he is, he becomes unforgettable.